Hello again, it's a little side project here. So this setup here is my manual pick and place pen. So you put either a blunt hypodermic needle or a little suction cup tip on here, and it's for picking parts out of rolls of tape and placing them on cards. I've had this for a while and it's worked pretty good, but I have some issues with it I'm trying to fix. So this is a Whisper 60 pump that I modified to run suction on one side and just standard pressure blowing on the other side. This is a 2-port valve, so each of these ports either hooks, currently it's hooking the center port or upper port to the center port, blocking this port, and hooking this port to this vent. And when you push this down, it hooks this port to the center port, blocking this port, and this upper port to this vent. So no matter what position it is, one of these two is hooked to the output and the other one vents to the atmosphere so it doesn't mess up the pump. So what I've found with this is I get about 4 inches of mercury of vacuum off of this hose, but I only get about 2 inches of mercury off of this side. I've hooked these two hoses together and made sure it's not a leak somewhere else, so I know the leak is in the valve. 2 inches of mercury works alright, but you got to be a little bit careful. It tends to drop bigger parts. So I wanted to fix that, so I've torn this valve apart multiple times. I replaced all the O-rings in it. I greased everything. The grease fixes the issue for a little bit, but then it'll start leaking again. So I think I'm just going to replace this with something completely different. So let me get rid of that. So that's going to go away. And instead what I want to do is use one of these little electrical foot switches and some more Keurig coffee pot parts. So I got another pair of these little air valves, electric air valves, solenoid valves, and the 12-volt transformer out of the Keurig. And I want to mount all that onto this guy. So I'm thinking I 3D printed this plate so those valves go in there and then it clamps down. I'm thinking of mounting this about there. So then the air lines from the pump will just go up in the bottom of the valves, and then the valves will go to this fancy-dancy T with a filter in it. It's just a metal screen. And then that will just hook onto the pipe, hopefully like so, and that'll be it. So that's sort of the idea. For those of you that want to transform one of these air pumps into a vacuum pump, a really poor vacuum pump, but still a vacuum pump, it's super duper easy. Take the 4 screws out, make sure it's unplugged, crack her open, and all you have to do is pull this little diaphragm assembly out, like that. Yep. And rotate this 180 degrees and then put it back in. So that this position like this is the standard. I'm blowing air out of that tube. And if I just twist it like that and put it back in, now it's going to suck air in the tube and then vent it out the muffler system that's built into these, which is what makes them quiet. So put that back in suck mode. And this side should still be in. Ooh, that one's really stuck. Yeah, that one is in blow mode. And just to make sure, I'll push those both down. Don't touch those bits when it's plugged in, it'll hurt a lot. Oh, my power's not on. Plan B. So there you can see they're vibrating away. And if I check this one, it's sucking, and that one is glowing. So it's set up the way I need it. on the output side of that, this guy is just a little filter, so it keeps the big chunks of goop from getting into the valves. There is a little check valve right there to keep it from going the wrong way. Not real important in this application. On the output side, I have this little pass-through tee. So this side and this side are just hooked straight through. It doesn't do anything to it. But this port can be adjusted via this needle valve. So what I do is I use this to adjust the amount of pressure that gets out to the pen when it's in blow mode. Because I don't want a lot, because you just blow the parts all over the place. I'm just looking for a little bit of air just to unseat the part from the tip if there's some flux or solder paste or something sticking the part to the tip of the placement tool. So I think I'm going to go pretty ghetto on this one and just bolt this sucker right there, run the power lines into the case, then bolt this guy over here like so, and wire up the mess and see how it works. So I don't think anyone really wants me to watch me scribe and drill holes, so I think I'm going to get this stuff mounted and then I'll cut back in once I get that done.